Now we're going to talk about how to use the sales comparison approach to estimate compensation on the value analysis report. In the VA report, the whole parcel is documented. The whole is valued as a vacant site. Any improvement outside the take area is not considered. A unit of value ultimately is determined for the whole as a vacant site using the sales comparison approach. And this unit of value will be used to estimate compensation for the land component of the part taken. The next slide is going to show the actual value analysis form. And here's page 1 of that form. The first red outline box is the section that documents the whole property, which is going to be the same as the larger parcel, at least in most situations. The second box is the sales comparison approach. We've got 3 comparable sales that we can insert in there. And using the sales comparison approach, a unit of value for the whole as a vacant site is estimated. And at the bottom of that square is the reconciliation of those 3 sales and the reconciled value. And that unit value is going to be carried over to page 2 of the value analysis report. And here's page 2 of the report. And that first box is the unit of value of the whole is inserted into this section to estimate compensation for the land component of the part taken. And that's what we're going to really be talking about in the last part of this module. We are not going to be talking about the other parts of the value analysis report. That'll be in later modules, but the next one would be the part taken, improvements that are in the part taken, minor cost to cures, the conclusion of value, the FMVE conclusion, the appropriate signatures, and administrative settlement. Those are all parts of the value analysis report, but we will not be talking about them in this module. And here's the last page of the value analysis report, which would be photographs, maps of the comparable sales, and the scoping checklist. All right, identifying the whole property larger parcel. Here's what that section looks like. We've blown it up. Into the address area is the location of the whole. It needs to be adequate so a reader can find the property. The next is the zoning classification. Next is utilities. And if you open that box up, you've got a selection of all public, none, electric only, water only, and so on. The next is you need to put in the auditor's parcel number for the whole. You need to put in the size of the whole. You need to choose either acres or square feet for the size. And then you need to insert the highest and best use. And you also have items that you can choose from: agriculture, commercial, industrial, multifamily, and so on. And the last square is the comments section, and it's for anything else about the whole property that the appraiser wants to elaborate about. And this is how the comparable sales are listed on the value analysis report. I'm going to blow one of these up to make it easier to see. And there's the blow up. We insert the sale number. We insert the auditor's parcel number for the sale. We put in the location of the sale again, so it's adequate that a reader can find the property. We insert the highest and best use of the comp. And again, we've got choices to make because windows open up. The zoning classification and the definition of that classification goes in. We put in verification source, and again, we have choices to make because windows open up. Utilities, same thing. We put in what's available. We have a selection to choose from. We enter in the sale date. When we go in there, a calendar opens up here, and we enter in the sale date of the comparable. We insert the sale price of the comparable. We insert the size of the comparable. And we insert the unit value indication, which is going to be price per square foot or price per acre. Finally, we insert any comments about the sale, and those go in this area. The sales grid section. The comparable sales used in the sales comparison approach that support the value of the whole property as a vacant site are going to be listed in this area. Only 3 sales are used on the grid. More have been considered in the appraiser's file. No adjustments are shown on the grid. Unit values selected for the whole should fall within the range of values shown on the grid. So here's the reconciliation unit value of the whole property. That's at the bottom of the grid. We insert comments related to the reconciliation of the whole or larger parcel as a vacant site. Discuss why each of the sales are similar or dissimilar to the whole, which sale is weighted the most and the least, and why. And discuss the unit value selected for the whole property as a vacant site and the reasoning for that selection. That all goes into that area right there. And then we insert a conclusion for the unit value estimated for the whole property. And that goes in that square there, which is the reconciled value. All right, so what follows next is from an actual value analysis report. The project was GEOG 87, section 19.75, and the acquisition was of parcel 10SH and 10T. Here's an aerial showing the location of that property. Note that it's residential property, and surrounding it are also other residential properties. Most of those residential dwellings front the road, and it's rural in nature off the road. Parcel 10H, 10SH, and T are a strip taking along the existing road from this property, and that's shown as a red mark. And here we're standing in front of that residential property. We're standing on the road and we're looking up the driveway. We can actually see the garage as we look up the driveway on parcel 10. What you're looking at now is a detail sheet from that project. 10SH is shown as a yellow highlight, fronts along the road, and 10T is the temporary, shown in green. This is the existing right-of-way, shown as a red dotted line. The property, parcel 10, which is owned by the Ribes, are shown as a solid red line that's skinnier. Notice that they own the property to the center line of the road, State Route 87, also known as Kinsman Road. This is the existing edge of pavement, shown as a thicker red line. And we're looking at the edge of pavement on the other side of the road to get an idea of size. This is Highway Station 120, Highway Station 121. Get an idea of highway stationing in relationship to the location of parcel 10. And remember, in the previous slide we had a photo and we were standing on the road looking up the driveway. Well, here's that same view. What we're looking at now is the summary plan sheet. Parcel 10 is outlined in red. What we're looking at now is the size of the SH area. It's 0.0465 acres. 10T is 0.0330 acres. And what's showing us is that the fee owners, who are Ribes, don't own absolute fee because others own the gas and oil rights. Over time, these interests have been leased out or sold to other parties. And in yellow highlight shows the reason for the T taking, which is for grading of the driveway, construction, and removal of a portion of the wooded area. And finally, the lower part of the screen is going to show that the duration of the temporary is 12 months. All right, this is from the appraiser's report, and we're just going to discuss the highlights here. We're not going to read this word for word. Property is located on the north side of Kinsman Road, which is also State Route 87, and it's 700 feet east of the intersection with Hayes Road. It's improved with a residential dwelling. The unaffected site improvements are excluded from the analysis. The larger parcel contained 3.99 acres, of which 0.1396 acres is encumbered with PRO. What that means is standard highway easement. There is a standard highway easement that contains 0.1396 acres that currently encumbers the road. That is known as PRO. And that leaves an area of 3.8504 acres that has no PRO encumbrance on it. The owner is James A. Ryby and Sally A. Ryby. Next is the zoning code. The property is located in Middlefield Township, and there is no zoning ordinance in Middlefield Township. That means there is no minimum site size requirements. Utilities, there are no public water or sanitary sewers available in the area, and the property does have electricity and natural gas. And the highest and best use. Highest and best use of the land as vacant is residential or light commercial industrial use. All right, we're looking at a picture again showing parcel number 10, the Ryby property. And again, the T and the SH acquisitions are along the road frontage. The highest and best use was residential or light industrial commercial. As we look at the aerial, we certainly see lots of residential properties, but what about those light industrial commercial properties? Well, right across the street is a retail facility that sells glass. To the left of the Ryby property is a property that is used for an automotive repair business and a towing service. And across the street from that is an apartment complex. So the area where this property is located does have mixed uses, residential, light industrial, and commercial. And that's why the appraiser determined that's what its highest and best use was. So if you're using the sales comparison approach to estimate the value for the whole parcel, you've just been provided information about the whole. What kind of comparable sales are you going to look for? Well, we know that we're going to look probably in Middlefield Township, where this property is located. We know that it's on a paved state route. We know that it's got 3.8504 acres net of PRO. That's probably a range of 1 to 5 acres. We know that it's rectangular in shape and has 202 front feet along the road. We know there's no zoning. We know there's no public water or sanitary sewers in the area. And we know that its highest and best use is single family, light commercial, or industrial. So that's what we're going to be looking for. We're going to use a date in this analysis of January 23rd, 2018, which represents the date the property was actually inspected by the appraiser. Here are the actual comparables that were considered by the appraiser in the valuation of the property. All of those sales aren't going to fit on the value analysis grid, which only takes 3 sales. So the question is, which 3 should we choose? Again, looking for Middlefield Township in Geauga County, 200 front feet along a paved road surface that's state maintained, 2 to 5 acres in size, no public water or sewer, use that can be single family and or light commercial or industrial, and had to have occurred on or before January 23rd, 2018. Here's the sales location map that was part of that report, and outlined in red is the project area. Let's look at sales 5 and 6. They're on paved state roads and they're close to the whole property. There's sale 6, there's sale 5. And what we're looking at right now is the actual sale data sheet for sale number 3. It's closest in proximity to the whole property. Its date of sale was March 2015. It's a corner lot, therefore it's got frontage on 2 roads. Size is 2.51 acres net of any PRO. Has no public water or sewer in the area. Fronts a paved state road. Was purchased for an automotive business. There was a single family residence on the property, but that was torn down after the people bought the property. And that dwelling was torn down at a cost of $10,000 based on the information on the data sheet. So that shows us that they actually paid $60,000 for the property, but sunk another $10,000 in it to tear the single family residence down. So that adjusted the sale price from $60,000 to $70,000. There's no zoning. The highest and best use was single family residential industrial, and that's also pulled from the data sheet. So the adjusted sale price was $70,000, and if we divide that by 2.51 acres, and that is the size of the property, we know that this comparable sold for a unit value of $27,800 per acre. All right, the next comparable we're going to look at is sale number 5. It's also close in proximity to Middlefield Township, sold on March 2015. It's got 195 front feet along a paved state road. It's got 2.820 acres net of any PRO. No public water or sewer in the area, no zoning. It was vacant at time of sale, but has since been developed with a warehouse. Its highest and best use was single family residential and or industrial, and we pulled that from the data sheet. Sold for $55,000, and so when we divide that sale price by 2.82 acres, we get a unit value of $19,504 per acre. So right now we have 2 comparables that are similar in size, similar in location. They're on paved state routes. They have similar highest and best uses to the whole property, which is residential light industrial. These sales were purchased for their light industrial use, both sold in March 2015. So as the whole has a highest and best use that also includes residential, we should look at a sale that's more reflective of a residential use, and that's closer to the date of appraisal, which is January 23rd, 2018. So let's look again at the 8 comparable sales that were actually considered on this property. There's those sales, and the date on the VA report was January 23rd, 2018. So which of these sales is closest to that date? Sale 2 is, sale 3 is, and sale 8 is. Those are the most recent sales. They sold in 2017. So let's see where sales 2, 3, and 8 are located. Again, we're back looking at the sales location map. Red is the project area. Sale 2 looks to be about the furthest away from the project area. Sale 3 appears to be relatively close. And sale 8 appears to be somewhat distant from the project area. So it appears sale 3 to be the most recent sale in close proximity to the whole. So here is the data sheet for sale number 3. It's close in proximity. It's in Parkman Township, also in Geauga County. Date of sale was October 2017. It's got 150 front feet along a paved local road. It's got 2.58 acres net of PRO. No public water or sewer in the area. The zoning is R1, residential district. It was vacant at time of purchase and was purchased for residential use. Highest and best use is residential only. Sale price was $35,000, and if we divide that by its size of 2.580 acres, we get a unit value of $13,566 per acre. All right, so we have our 3 sales that are comparable to the whole property. Let's fill out the portion of the value analysis dealing with the sales comparison approach. we're going to identify the whole property. We've already filled it out. It's located at 17456 Kingsman Road in Middlefield, Ohio, zip code 44062. It's on the north side of Kinsman Road, 700 feet east of Hayes Road and the Kinsman Road intersection. There's no zoning in Middlefield Township, and utilities is limited to well and septic. And here is the auditor's parcel number for the whole property. Whole property is 3.8504 acres. Highest and best use says see comments, and here are the comments that we inserted. Highest and best use of the whole is residential or light commercial industrial use. Size is net of any PRO. No public water or sanitary sewer is available. Property has an on-site well and septic. It is rectangular in configuration with 202 feet along a paved state route. All right, so now let's look at the grid and the comparable sales. First, let's start with sale 3. We've identified it as sale 3 here. There is the auditor's parcel number. Its address is Hosmer Road, Parkman Township, Geauga County. Highest and best use is residential. It's zoned R1, which is a residential district. Verification source was with a broker agent. Utilities, no public water or sanitary sewers available. Development would require an on-site well and septic system. Sale date was October 17, 2017. Sale price, $35,000. Parcel size was 2.580 acres net of PRO, which gives us a value indication of $13,566 per acre. And so our comments for this sale are: the property was vacant at time of sale. R1 zoning limits the use to residential only, while the whole has residential as well as light commercial industrial potential uses. The sale has a rectangular shape having 155 feet of paved road frontage. Sale 3 is the most recent sale in close proximity to the whole, but its highest and best use is limited to residential due to zoning, making it inferior to the whole. Its size is slightly smaller than the whole. Next sale is sale number 5. And there is the auditor parcel number. The sale is located at 13630 Old State Road in Middlefield Township in Geauga County. Its highest and best use reference us to the comments section. Zoning, there is no zoning in Middlefield Township. Verification source was with a broker agent. Utilities says see comments. No public water or sanitary sewers available. Development would require an on-site well and septic. Sale date was March 2015, and the sale price was $55,000. Its size was 2.820 acres net of PRO, indicating a value of $19,504 per acre. And finally, the comments for this sale. Its highest and best use as vacant is industrial residential. It was vacant at time of sale and has since been developed with a warehouse. Site is rectangular with 160 front feet along a paved state road. Sale 5 is similar to the whole, having no zoning and a highest and best use that is residential or industrial. This sale is slightly smaller in size. Its location is considered similar to the whole, but it is older in time. And finally, we're going to look at sale 6. Here's the grid for it. There is the auditor parcel number. It is 17392 Kinsman Road in Middlefield Township, Geauga County, and it is the northeast corner of Kinsman Road and Hayes Road. Highest and best use references us to the comments section. Zoning, there's no zoning in Middlefield Township. Verification source is grantee buyer. Utilities, the same as the others. No public water or sanitary sewers available. Development would require an on-site well and septic. Sale date is March 19, 2015, sold at $70,000, indicate at a parcel size of 2.518 acres that was net of PRO, indicating a unit value of $27,800 an acre. And in the comments section, highest and best use As vacant is industrial and residential, at time of sale, the property was developed with a residence which has been torn down at a cost of $10,000. Buyer purchased the property to expand his neighboring automotive business. The property is in the project area, but the sale was not affected by the project. Sale 6 is similar to the whole, having no zoning and the highest and best use, that is residential or industrial. Sale slightly smaller in size, but its location is considered very similar to the whole, but it is older in time. This sale has a corner location that's considered superior to the whole. All right, so now that we've got the three sales listed on the value analysis report, we've got to reconcile all that information. That's what we're going to do in this section. The sales range from $13,566 per acre to $27,800 per acre. Sale 3 was given the least consideration due to its limitation to residential use only. Sale 6 is given secondary consideration as the buyer was motivated, the sale is within the project's corridor, and the site has a corner influence. Sale 5 is given the greatest weight as its highest and best use and location are similar to the whole. The sale is slightly smaller in size to the whole and is older in time. These points of inferiority are accounted for by rounding the unit value up from $19,504 per acre to $20,000 per acre. And so we insert that $20,000 per acre into the reconciled value square. Note that the reconciled value box will not allow a price per acre or price per square foot or any other thing that defines the unit of value. At this point, we've completed the sales comparison approach section of the value analysis report, and now we've got to carry that unit value estimated for the whole as a vacant site over to the estimate of compensation section of the report. And here's that section, and we're focusing on part taken land only. So the first one we're going to look at is the SH. The net take is 0.0465 acres. The percent acquired was 100% fee value minus $1, and the unit of value was $20,000 an acre. And we've got a comment section here. Perpetual highway easement is acquired. That's what the SH means. OJI, Ohio Jury Instruction, requires compensation on remaining rights limited to a nominal amount. To account for this limitation, compensation for the SH is 100% of fee value minus $1, which is accounting for the remaining nominal amount of the property rights. And that all is done so we can comply with Ohio Jury Instruction. So the way we calculate it is you take the size of the SH acquisition, 0.0465 acres, we multiply that by $20,000 an acre to give us the fee value of that land taken, and then we less out $1 to reflect the remaining nominal property rights that the owner retains. And that indicates a total value for the SH easement taken of $929. Next, we're going to talk about the T acquisition. It contains 0.0330 acres. It's 1 year in duration. And the way we calculated that was we determined that the unit of value of the property before the taking was $20,000 an acre. Now for T acquisitions, it's based on the residue valuation or the residue property. We're using the value analysis report here, so we've determined that we've got a simplistic acquisition. There are no damages, so the unit value of the residue would be the same as the unit value of the property before the take, which is $20,000 an acre. Now, when we estimate compensation for a T, what we're doing is estimating the rental market value of the property that's going to be encumbered with this 1 year temporary. And so that is, we determine the fee value of of the land encumbered by the T, so 0.0330 acres times $20,000 an acre, that would give us the fee value. And then we multiply that by a capitalization rate appropriate for the land that's encumbered. In this case, it's 8%. So that will give us the annualized rental amount for the T area. And we multiply that by the duration of the T, and in this case, it's 1 year. So when we do that, we know that the value of the temporary taking is $53, and the total of all that would be $982 for the land taken. This does not consider any of the improvements that are taken. All right, and that's time for a knowledge check.